Greetings from Paarl in the Western Cape, folks. Goeienaand. What's Jiang? How you doing out there, folks? Listen, I read a news report in Business Tech, that's echoing a story report in the Sunday Times that Cyril Ramaphosa is purportedly considering picking one of 4 white Afrikaners to be the next ambassador to the United States. These people really don't know how to read a room. They really don't know how to read a room. Presumably, their thinking is that Donald Trump will only talk to a white ambassador. Do they not realize that the mere conversation that they're intentionally picking a white person to be the ambassador, not the best pick, but just a white person who could be white, but intentionally looking for a white person to be the ambassador, simply reinforces the notion that Trump is a racist when he's not. This is not about a white or black or colored ambassador coming. It's about the abhorrent conduct of Ibrahim Rasool, who got Rasooled for his conduct. That's conduct unbecoming of an ambassador. He wasn't a journalist. He's not an opinion maker. He's not a private citizen. He said those things as a sitting ambassador, called the President of the United States the leader of a global white supremacy and America racist. And for that, he got booted. Now they're sending over Nkabisi Jonas, who's also on record of saying abhorrent things about Donald Trump. But he said so in a private capacity. It doesn't make it any better, but it does mitigate the circumstances. He wasn't a serving ambassador or special envoy. So that's a completely different kettle of fish. But he's probably not going to get a very warm reception in Washington. But does Ramaphosa and his inner circle, do they actually believe that sending a white Afrikaner is the answer to this impasse? They really don't get it. I don't understand. Latuliaus, I know you watch my videos. Please listen to me. You're making a mistake. The answer isn't a white Afrikaner. The answer is a person who respects the United States and who is capable of negotiating and conducting themselves in a diplomatic fashion. There are plenty of South Africans, white, black, brown, colored, Indian. It doesn't matter. There are plenty of people who fit the bill that will do that. So apparently amongst the people he's considering choosing are Rolf Meyer. Rolf Meyer, the man who negotiated away South Africa to the ANC, the PAC, and others at the CODESA summit. Now, he's chummy, buddy with Cyril Ramaphosa. He's also about 18,000 years old. So I'm not saying Rolf Meyer's a bad choice, but I am saying that I'm not so sure that's the right pick. I suppose of the choices he got on the table, it's probably a better pick from a standpoint that at least he has Ramaphosa's ear, or he did in 1994 and a few years after that. So Rolf Meyer. Another is van Schalkwyk, Martinus van Schalkwyk, the man who joined the ANC. He destroyed the National Party, the new National Party, and made it part of the ANC so he could get his position as the tourism minister. I haven't heard from that guy in a long time. What's he up to? Well, he's an ANC cater. So I suppose the ANC, that makes sense. Rolf Meyer's as close to a cater as you can get and not be a cater. And then there's Andreas Snell, who's inside the party, a rather quiet guy, but he's also a cater. He's also an ANC guy. Maybe, Cyril Ramaphosa, you get your people to listen to my video for a second and understand that the question is not about skin color. The question is about aptitude and the right person for the job. And the folks that you've sent, Rasool, Jonas, aren't the right people for the job. Jonas is a special envoy, and that's fine, but he's not going to get anywhere. You don't call people racist and expect them to do business with you. Now, Donald Trump's kind of forgiving, so we'll see if he does forgive, but I don't expect to see much out of that. But the intention of Ramaphosa to pick a white Afrikaner to be the ambassador of the United States simply plays in a whole bunch of stereotypes, none of which are good. And frankly, I think it's a very poor idea. You don't need a white Afrikaner. You need a patriotic South African who has the ability to negotiate. Now, unfortunately, they'll be negotiating on behalf of the president and on behalf of South Africa. And South Africa's government has shown no inclination whatsoever, to resolve this impasse between the United States and South Africa. They simply deny and claim that Trump doesn't know, that there is no expropriation land, when in fact there is expropriation land. People are stealing land and the government's not kicking them off of it. That's expropriation. It's confiscation. They claim that Trump doesn't know, that there are no racist laws, yet there are 142 or so laws documented that are intentionally discriminatory towards ethnic minorities. So Trump does know. He does understand. He's aware of the hazards for people in South Africa. I mean, at my meet and greet last week in Strand, someone drove down from Cape Town and was in a gunfight. Not themselves, but they were in the middle. People shooting gangsters across the road at cars, coming to my meet and greet. Look, there's danger everywhere. But South Africa do well to quit insulting Donald Trump, saying he just doesn't understand, or say that America doesn't understand, or we got it wrong, or we're listening to propaganda. Trump isn't using the word genocide. Musk did, but he's not a government official, and he'll be out of the government in a matter of days when his Doge period is over after 120 days. It's not the official policy of the U.S. government, this concept of genocide. That is the purview of the media in South Africa and politicians who apparently hate white folks. They use this narrative all the time about white genocide. They're the ones that bring it up. Everybody's suffering in South Africa from intense crime. Well, except for the caterers. They've got all the security they need. But everyone else is suffering from crime in South Africa, and it's horrible. But Donald Trump does get it. And simply sending a white guy to be the ambassador is not the solution. The ANC needs to start dealing with the reality that its actions run contrary to the interests of the United States. And that's fine if you want to run contrary to the interests of the United States, but there will be consequences. I'm not threatening you. I mean, people accuse me of threatening. I'm not accusing you. I'm just telling you there's a consequence to what you do. If you share nuclear technology with Iran, you're going to fall out of favor with Washington, not just Washington. If you lie about the Lady R, you're going to fall out of favor with Washington. If you train Chinese fighter pilots at South African training academies with NATO and U.S. pilots, you're going to fall out of favor with the United States. If you apply 75% poultry tariffs on our poultry exports to South Africa, you're going to fall out of favor with the United States. Do you get the picture here? Do you get the picture? If you fail, like 85% of the rest of the world, to condemn Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, you're going to fall out of favor with the United States. Most of the world didn't. If you're buddy and chummy and making congratulatory phone calls, now Lady Pandor, to Hamas after they murdered and tortured 1,200 people, you're going to fall out of favor with the United States. This isn't rocket science. If that's your stated position, then you will not be able to repair the breach with the United States. It's as simple as that. This isn't about withdrawing the case again in the International Court of Justice. This isn't about Afrikaners and the refugee program. This is about the slights that the South African government has committed against the United States' interest as perceived by Washington, D.C. It's as simple as that. And sending a white guy who's an Afrikaner isn't going to solve the problem. It just isn't. People in Latuli House are tone deaf. People in the government national unity are clueless. You really need to wake up and get a clue, folks. You don't even have to buy a clue. I'm offering it to you for free. I'm giving you an answer for free. You want recommendations? I'll give you recommendations who your ambassador should be. But you've got to negotiate in good faith. Not simply stab America in the back behind the scenes, think you're going to get away with it. If you really think the United States government doesn't know what's going on in South Africa, then you really don't understand the world. Trust me, the United States government knows what's going on here in South Africa. Well, from Parle in the Western Cape, folks, there's my thoughts, my 2 cents, and then a bit more on this situation of Ramaphosa considering picking a white Afrikaner to be the ambassador to the United States. I don't have a problem with that. I also don't have a problem with a black Tswana person being the person to go, or a colored person from the Cape. I don't have a problem. All we care about is someone's competent and has the ability to actually do the job as ambassador. So there you go, folks. What say you, South Africa? Mzansi, South Africa? What say you, world? Stay tuned. More to follow on this issue, no doubt.